A new hour-long documentary about January 6th has just been released. It's called J6: A True Timeline. I will leave a link to the entire documentary in the description below, but there was two clips in the documentary that I wanted to share with you. It is two clips where the police on the scene are admitting that they were set up. Check it out.
At 2:33 p.m., a frustrated police officer can be heard venting about being, in his words, set up.
They set us up. That's what they did. They set us up. They set up 64. Oh, absolutely. And then they asked y'all to come 2 hours later. They set us up. They needed everybody right away. Nah, right away. They set us the up. So now we ain't got. We ain't got no mother. They set us the.
That was the first clip, and you can see it's undeniable. I believe that was the Capitol police officer there who was saying that they set us up to fail, meaning they did not give us backup. They sent you guys 2 hours later. And that was one of the issues that a lot of people had is where was the backup? Why was nobody additional added to help out in a situation like this? It's almost like they didn't want additional help to actually be there to prevent this from happening. Here's the second clip.
At the same time, police officers discuss being unprepared for what they encountered.
I didn't know we were coming up for this. I would have made sure we all had our masks.
I didn't realize how bad. They set us up to fail.
They did.
There was no way we were winning that. And now you got at least 4 platoons that are just gassed out.
Yeah, literally.
Because us, 54, doesn't have masks.
Yeah. Well, remember, we're supposed to be rapid response just to buy time for the hard platoons to come.
They didn't come. They didn't ask for them.
Who cares about the street? Like, prioritize.
Secure the Capitol.
Listen, these are just average Joe Capitol Police or security teams like you saw in the clip there, rapid response, and they're designed just to hold the scene for a little bit until additional help can get on the way. And no one ever showed up. No one was ever called in. It was as if, again, they did not want any additional support to show up. And you see multiple times from different individuals saying we were set up to fail. They knew this was going to happen. And not only that, but the tactics that were being used by certain individuals were almost forcing the people in the crowd to continue to push forward. They were using tactics that were the opposite of what they should have been doing. This documentary, J6: A True Timeline, is really good. And one of the reasons it's so good is because it really holds the bias back. Because you can make a documentary simply trying to prove one thing. But this documentary does a good job of not doing that. It is going to show you the video clips where you're like, yeah, I mean, there were definitely people there who were storming up at the Capitol. There was definitely unruly individuals. You're going to see that. But as it shows you the timeline of all of the different events that are happening, what's going on at the Capitol, what's going on at the Trump rally, what's going on, there's different meeting locations where different people are starting to meet together and march. It's going to show you all of them at the same time, going one by one by one. You're going to start to see how this whole thing isn't entirely how it's been presented by the media. They knew they wanted to see what they called an insurrection occur. They wanted to see the Capitol be stormed. And so they ensured that what was happening with certain plants in certain places at certain times, some in the crowd, some outside of the crowd, and some making the call on what and what not to do as this was all unfolding to reach the eventual outcome that people were actually going to enter into the Capitol building. And when they did, it didn't look like what they wanted it to look like in the Capitol building. I'm sure they wanted it to look like people throwing things around or whatever. It looked like a guided tour, but they still got what they eventually wanted out of the entire thing. And now they're trying to obviously, prosecute Donald Trump on insurrection charges to prevent him from becoming president again. But his speech also didn't go the way they wanted it to go. And his follow-up tweets didn't really help much either, although they tried to use like one of them against him, but it still wasn't even one that they could really use. But what do you all think about this? Leave your comments below. I'll catch you in the next video.